Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Smith's Kitchen. I'm Brian, Mr. Smith Kitchen, as always. And I do some cooking. So I thought we'd cook together since you're here. That's awesome. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is your first video. I hope you get something out of this video and check out some of my others. I think they're kind of cool. They're rather informative. Some of them can be a little long. That I apologize in advance. If you're returning, thank you. If you are a new subscriber, which we have gained a few in the last week or so, welcome. Thank you. I'm glad you decided that you wanted to be a part of the community, the neighborhood. You know, cook with me, or whatever it takes, and or bake, depending on the day. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or that's important. It gets us out in the algorithm, helps grow the neighborhood. Sorry. Comments always welcome. Just be civil. It's okay to disagree. Just be nice, right? We're here for food and company, communication. Having a good day. But anyhow, we're going to make a Tex-Mex beef and potato skillet. It's almost like a hash, and with the potatoes being a little bigger and hamburger in it instead of corned beef. But it sounds delicious. It's got lots of good ingredients in it. I don't think we'll be disappointed, and it won't take long to make. That's the best part. This is definitely a weeknight meal fit for a king. I am gonna change the ingredients list up. I'm gonna do it a little differently than the original recipe, but not by much. I'm using fresh potatoes, green peppers, red peppers, onion, versus a frozen potato mix made by O'Brien's, I think, that has all that in it already. So my recipe will be a little different, but not by much. The ingredients will still be the same. I'm using fresh ingredients. So anyhow, that being said, let's head on down to the counter and we'll get started making this. All right, hold on for me 1 second. Okay, so down here at the counter, really easy dish. All you need is a skillet, a 12-inch skillet. Now I'm using a deep fryer, wide fryer, only because I don't have a 12-inch skillet. All mine are 10, and this will let it go up a little bit versus out. So that being said, first thing we need to do, and I have doubled this recipe, so everything I put into this you can split in half for to feed 4, but I'm feeding 6. So anyhow, 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using olive oil in here, and we're going to bring that up. I've already got my pan warming up, so it shouldn't take long, but we're going to bring that up to heat, on medium heat, right? That way we can heat our oil up. The smoke's just coming from where it's burning off old oil. So, but anyhow, let's get this heated up. Once it starts dancing and smoking and doing its thing, we can move on. Okay, so next thing we gotta do, we got it up, bubbling, smoking a little, is we're gonna take, I got 2 pounds of hamburger, and I'm gonna put this in here, and we're gonna fry it up and get it browned and crumbly. Okay, so our hamburger is browned about halfway through, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead, and since I'm using fresh vegetables, I'll need to cook a little longer than if I would have used the frozen ones that come in the frozen diced potatoes. So what I've got in here, I've got one, the kids are about to go outside in the pool, 1 medium yellow onion, 1 green pepper, and 1 red pepper, and I've got those diced up. And I'm gonna go ahead and put those in there now, kind of give those a head start. I mean, not that it takes a lot to do those with, but we want them to, we want to make sure they're softened. Not mushy, but soft. Yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and get all this cooked, and then we can play some more. Okay, so we have our meat is brown, and our vegetables have just started to soften, so we're good there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some spices to this. And man, is it a good amount of spices, but all stuff that's kind of common to your house, I would think. So I'll go around the clock here and tell you what everything is. Right here is 2 teaspoons of taco seasoning. I'm sorry, 4 teaspoons of taco seasoning. I forgot we doubled this. 2 pounds of hamburger, 1 green pepper, 1 red pepper, 1 medium yellow onion, and 2 tablespoons of oil. But anyhow, 4 teaspoons of taco seasoning, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of garlic granules. But if you don't have the granules, powder's fine, or whatever you have that you like. And then I've got a teaspoon of pepper and a teaspoon of salt, followed by half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now, if you notice, my cayenne's a little bright. It's because it's not really cayenne. I didn't have any. Well, I have like 1/8 of a teaspoon left. But I have a chili powder that we made out of drying jalapenos that's out of this world. And all we do really is any peppers we don't use at the end of the season, we just hang them up to dry. And then, oh, you can't see them, but hang them up to dry. And then, when we run low on, a powder, because we grow a few different types of peppers over time, when we run out of a certain powder, whether it be a jalapeno, habanero, it just depends. We put it in our little mini blender and make it a powder. So anyhow, we put all that stuff in there, and we're just gonna let this cook for a couple minutes. That way all the spices get to know each other. They get to know what the other ingredients, and it gets to play in that oil for a little bit, which will activate them. That's the important thing. Right now we're just activating the spices. Okay, so we've let those guys hang out for a little bit. So the next things we need to put in here, we're down to just a couple of ingredients really, is 2 cans of Rotila. There's 1, there's 2. We finished up the last jar of our Rotila from the winter, from the batch that we made for the winter time. Okay. Just the other day, and that's a good run because the tomatoes out there are nice and big and green. It's got to wait for them to get red. So I almost made it a whole year with the Rotila. But we got that in there, so now, and we wanted to leave the juice on that Rotila. I'm going to take about 5 cups worth of potatoes, 6 cups worth of potatoes, and I just diced these up into about 1/4 inch sections. And these are the potatoes we grew in our garden this year, the first round. But I just cut them up into 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch-ish chunks, about hash brown chunks, and put those in here. And you want them small so they soften relatively quickly. Now I think this is getting a little thick for my liking. As far as don't have any juices in it. So hold on for me 1 second. I am going to get some stock that we can put in here real quick. Okay, ran and got me some stock real quick, some beef stock. Since this is a beef and potato skillet, I'm going to put about a cup's worth in there because I want to create some steam for these potatoes. That'll reduce down, and if nothing else, it'll just give it a healthier meat flavor to the dish. So after we make sure we get everything mixed up decent, we will, to help these potatoes cook, we're going to put a lid on it, and we're going to let this run for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to lean more towards 10. Like I said, the original recipe didn't tell you how to, other than adjust your times, so I'm adjusting my times. With you're using the frozen, it's 5 to 6 minutes. So I'm going to say 5 to 10 minutes if you're using fresh potatoes and you cut them up small, but we'll check them. We need them to be fork soft, that's all. We're not making mashed potatoes, just making them soft. So when that happens, I'll be right back. We'll take a look at it and probably try some. All right, so I let it cook for about 12-15 minutes to get the potatoes nice and soft. Now, what I was talking about with fork tender, let me see if I can bring in a little closer and show you. But what you want to do is find, maybe one of the bigger pieces if you're not, if you're anything like me, your pieces aren't exactly squared. and you're just gonna put your fork in it. If you can pick it up without having to shove it all the way through like that, it's done. It's fork tender. That's what we want. Good enough to eat. So what I'm going to do now is I will let this cook for about another minute or two, just to get some of that liquid out of there. On a side note, the original recipe called for a 93.7 hamburger. Now, for two reasons. A, I had 80/20. B, I didn't want to have to mortgage my house for hamburger. I just went ahead and used 80/20. Excuse me. And poured just a hair of the grease off when I cooked it. Not a whole lot, because we needed some of that. We put oil in there for a reason. But you don't have to. You use what meat you can afford. Is what it comes down to. What can you do to feed your family? That's the important thing. So anyhow, I'm gonna let this cook for about another minute or so longer, because as you can see, it's starting to thicken up. And then we're gonna move on to the next step in this process. Maybe 2 minutes, and it's nice and thick now. It looks good. It smells wonderful. I don't really know how it tastes other than that, a couple of potatoes I tried to make sure they were done, and we're there. We're just gonna let that sit over there on the side for about 10 minutes. Now, I'm about to fry up some eggs. I won't bore you with that. We can, unless you want to see me fry eggs eventually, we'll probably just, let it go like it is. So, while that's cooling off and this pan's heating up, because we don't want to eat that right this second. Man, that would burn your face off. I want to talk about the different ways you can eat this. Now, you can throw this in a bowl, have some meal with a bowl, or you could put that as a filler in a burrito. You change that beef to sausage, and you've got the perfect breakfast burrito. But that could be a really nice burrito with some cheese and sour cream in it, or creme fraiche. Yeah. You could you can put it in taco and eat it that way with some lettuce on top and some cheese and some salsa for that matter. There's a million and one possibilities for that. I'm going to use it as a hash, and I'm basically going to plate it like it is, and then I'm going to put a couple fried eggs on top of it. That way, that's how I want it. That's how I envisioned it in my head. It was, one of the suggestions, and it sounds really good. So I'm going to let that sit for about 10 minutes, let everything settle down so it doesn't melt our face. In the process, I'm going to heat up my skillet here and make it some fried eggs, and when I come back we'll give it a try. Alright, I'll see you here in just 1 second. Okay, so we let that sit. I fried up a couple eggs for us, and cheese. I know I didn't mention it, but we're gonna put that on top of the potatoes, beef and potatoes, and then we'll put our eggs on top of that and see where it takes us from there. So we'll go ahead and get us a good portion, because that looks amazing. It smells fantastic, and I'm hoping that it tastes just as good. And we'll get us some of this cheese here. Now I'm using a sharp cheddar. You use whatever you and your family like. If we had pepper jack, we'd be using pepper jack. Whatever. All right, grab my eggs here real quick. Now I'm warning you, these are not the prettiest looking eggs in all of North America, but you know what? It's okay, because they're gonna get eaten. Okay, there we are. There is our eggs and our beef and potato skillet, or hash, as the case may be, with some cheddar. Now, we could cut up some chives and put that on there. We could put some fresh peppers on there, jalapeno or otherwise. Which, you know what? I don't have any fresh, but I do have, I think, jarred. So, give me 1 second. Ooh. And I'm going to go grab some real quick, because I think that would taste real good on here. Hold on for me. Okay, I'm back. I had to go grab the last jar that was in the fridge of the sliced jalapenos that we grew last year. I'm telling you, we're getting to the point where I almost know how much to grow and how much to jar of each thing, because we jar a lot to get us through till the next season. I'm so close. I'm about a month off, which isn't too bad. That would give us a complete year. Now, with this being said, we could also add sour cream to it, whatever, but I think that'll look good right like it is. So let's ooh, that plate is hot. For sitting as long as it did, it certainly did not cool. Now, I will use a spoon to eat this with. I'm sure Chris will eat a fork, which begs the question I know I've asked once or twice before over the last couple of years. Which are you, a fork person or a spoon person? Let me know in the comments down below. I think it'd be kind of fun to tell if you made it this far into the video. But anyhow, let's give it a shot, all right? That is quite delish. Yeah. That's really good. I'm not gonna lie. Well, I wouldn't lie to you anyhow, but all the same, I don't think I would change anything on that. Especially with the egg. Unless I was gonna put that, all of that, including the egg, on like a burrito shell, in a burrito shell and wrap it up. That'd be the only thing, because that is really good. I'm sure somebody out there might say it needs a little more salt. I don't think so. But I can see where that might be a thing. Other than that, give this a try. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It didn't take long. You don't have to chop up anything. You can go buy a bag of frozen potatoes with the green peppers, onions, and red peppers in it already. And that part's out of the way. And if that's the case, once you get your meat brown, your stuff thrown in, you're another 5 to 6 minutes on the potatoes, if they're the frozen ones. Boom, you're done in less than 30 minutes, because that didn't take 30 minutes total. 15 minutes on the stovetop, 10 minutes prepping up 3 things. Yeah, it's easy either way it goes, but that is really just tasty. All the same, so give this a try. Let me know if you do. Leave me a comment down below. Check us out on Facebook, Mr. Smith's Kitchen. As far as tomorrow goes, we are going to do a German chocolate pie. It is a tribute pie, in some senses, to the German chocolate cake. And reading the recipe, it pretty much is just, in a way, the German chocolate cake, just in pie form. I think it's going to be really good and fairly easy to make. So, give this a try. And until tomorrow when we make some German chocolate pie, I love you. I love you very much. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else you love them. They may need to hear it. It's going to make their day a whole lot better either way it goes. It's going to make you feel better to tell them. If you make them some of this beef and potato skillet, it doesn't matter how you serve it. It's going to be a good conversation. They're going to want the recipe. And you'll have the rest of the evening to be happy and talk. All right? So, till tomorrow for pie, I love you. I'll see you then. Talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye.